Hello, and that's cringy. That's how you do it. Cringy, you do this. That's how you do it. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm back, baby. This is my best friend Hannah. I did not just snap her neck. Hello, Earthlings. That's how I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna call everybody. Wait a second. We decided to make a video about our most extreme paranormal experiences.
Yeah, this is just a few of them. We have others, but they're a lot smaller and they're not as like, wow.
We're gonna tell you all of our personal childhood or separate paranormal experiences, and then we're gonna transition into all of the crazy paranormal experiences we have had together. So buckle up, get ready, and let's get on with the video. Was that good? Oh, okay, let me make sure that I'm in frame when it's recording. Oh, my chapstick.
Oh, is it recording?
Can you hand me? Yeah. I just want to say, if you're the person who disliked our last video together, I know who you are. I feel a lot more comfortable in the camera nowadays. And because I've just accepted, you know what? It's okay if I'm boring. It's ridiculous. It's HD video, by the way.
Fancy. See her little boy?
I can't believe it.
But we're here to talk about our paranormal experiences. A few of them we've shared together.
What do we believe about the paranormal?
Yeah.
We don't really believe in ghosts. We believe in demons.
Yeah. Demons that portray themselves to be ghosts. Ghosts.
Because no one's gonna see a demon and be like, I can't wait to go over here to this demon. I can't wait to do whatever this demon tells me to do. Yeah. I can't wait to allow this demon into my heart, life, and soul. Yeah. No one's gonna do that. If it's interesting, if it's historical, if it's ghosts, you're gonna invite that in, and you don't want to invite that in. And I really think that people who are aware of that, they're like, oh, we don't have to trick you, we're just gonna rain hell on you. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I think, how do you think is the best way? I think it's best to say our personal experiences and then talk about what we experienced together, especially that one house.
Yeah. Okay, so when I was a kid, like really little, I could not sleep by myself for whatever reason. I just couldn't fall asleep unless someone was sitting next to me or laying next to me. And my mom and I had this system where she would fall asleep next to me until, well, she would lay down next to me until I fell asleep, and then she would go to her bed. But I would always wake up in the middle of the night without fail, every single night, and go to her bed to sleep with her. And one night I woke up and my mom wasn't there, so I was on my way to go to her bed, and as I stepped out of my bed, I felt this overwhelming compulsion to turn and look out my bedroom window.
That's crazy that you like felt that you needed to look out.
Yeah, and like when I did, there was this like three-dimensional shadow man holding a machete like up in his arms like this, and he was like completely three-dimensional. I could see his muscles, like him breathing, like as he was like that, and he was bald, but I couldn't see any details.
It was Dr. Phil plot twist. I wouldn't want to be on Dr. Phil's hit list.
No, me either, man. I think I just went back into bed. I was too scared to leave my room.
Were you like paralyzed with fear almost?
I stopped and stared for like, I don't know how long, like I was frozen. And then I eventually like just like went like that and just walked in a different direction.
There was a family that used to go to my church that they talked about how they used to see shadow men outside their house. I don't know if I ever told you that.
No, you didn't.
But he said every time he's ever seen something demonic, it has looked like a shadow figure. And you've also always considered yourself really like sensitive to
paranormal things. Like I've seen things move on their own. There was this one time when I was sleeping in my room, and there was like my room was being lit by the moon, and one corner of my room was pitch black. Like, it shouldn't have been pitch black because everything else was being lit by the moon through my bedroom window. And I just knew that there was something there, like I could feel it.
I remember when I was really, really young, something that I would always like, and this is probably the first experience I ever had with something spiritual or paranormal. And by paranormal, I kind of mean like the worldview of spiritual, because that's really what it is. It's like someone looking at something spiritual, not wanting to fully embrace that it's spiritual or spiritual warfare, and kind of putting a secular stamp on it, I think. Lying in my bed, and I was in between that place of like sleep but not really asleep, you know what I mean? Like you're kind of like you're falling
half asleep.
Yeah, like you're falling asleep. And I remember something like hit me like right here in my core, and my whole body like clenched up, like fetal position, and I just started like screaming like in some other language at the top of my lungs, and no one in my family could wake me up. And the next day, and I didn't wake up either. I woke up the next day and I thought like, oh my gosh, like was I dreaming? That's crazy. And I asked my family and they were like, no, that was not a dream. That was legit. Oh my gosh, your friend's house with the face?
The face, oh my gosh, yeah. This was a few years ago. I was at a friend's house and it was like the Super Bowl or something. And me, my friend, and my friend's little brother were in a separate living room from everybody else. They were all watching the Super Bowl. The way that the room was set up was I was in a chair here, and across the room there was like the couch right here. Well, I was right here. The couch is right here, and then behind the couch there's like a window. And so I was looking at the window like that. We were just playing heads up or whatever, and I saw like a face like just pass over the window like that, like it glided almost, and
like perfectly like straight, like just ooh.
Like it didn't look like it was walking, it looked like it was just gliding and staring straight through the window. It passed over the window like this, and I thought that I was just seeing something, like I didn't think that it was real, and then it passed over again the opposite direction, and then I was like, oh no. And it was like lit up, like it looked like there was a light shining on the face. So I couldn't see any details of the person's face, but I knew that they were white. It was a boy with a blonde buzz cut. One of the boys that was there matched that description, and he was in the other room watching the Super Bowl. I just thought he was playing a prank. And so I told my friends about it that were in the room with me, and they didn't quite believe me, I don't think, until we were walking out of the house, like we were going to leave, and we asked the boy that matched the description of the face that I saw if he was playing a prank on us, like if he was outside, and he's like, no. And so I told him what happened. He's like, oh, well, I played with a Ouija board today. And I'm like, ah!
Don't play with Ouija board.
No.
If Zach Baggins is afraid of it, you should be afraid of it.
Exactly. And like we walked out of the house, and the house is on like a pretty tall foundation, so the window itself was like 6 feet off the ground, 7 feet off the ground, something like that. And there's a bush right under the window, and there's no light out there, so there's one, physically no way that the person could have been there and reached up to that window, and second, there is no light that was shining out there that could have illuminated his face.
We're about to tell you about an experience we had together.
Yeah, maybe it's how I sleep.
Hannah and I were driving down the road. I was driving, we were in my car, and we were coming back from an old friend's house. This was at nighttime and not a lot of people were on the road. There was some cars in the opposing lane, but then it was just us and this other car in our lane. This was a 3-lane road, probably 3 or 4 lane road.
Yeah.
And this car, like, was going really weirdly slow at first. And then they very much so wanted to be directly beside of us.
We were in the left lane. They were in, like, we were in the far left lane, I believe, and they were in the lane next to us.
Yeah.
Like, as we got a little bit ahead of them, they, like, sped up. So that way they were, like, right next to us. And we both looked over, to this person that was driving, and we both saw two different people driving. I saw a person that was in like, I think it was like a polo shirt, pale, a little bit overweight guy with brown curly hair, and he just looked dead into my eyes. And April saw someone completely different.
I didn't even see even close. That's what's so crazy is and I very vividly remember who I saw, very vividly. It was a guy. He had a really strong jaw. He was really kind of muscular, and he had on a hoodie, and he had the hood up, and he had like either no hair or like extremely short hair, and he had these big bags under his eyes, and he like literally looked us directly in the eye.
Yeah, he kept on we kept on trying to get away from him. He kept on speeding up, and then all of a sudden he just dropped back. Like he slammed on his brakes or something, and then we look in the rearview mirror and the car's gone.
There's only one place he could have gone. There was only one road to turn off of, to get off of the road. So I very quickly UI'd it and went over there to see if he was there. Absolutely nobody there.
Nothing. And we didn't even know that we saw two different people until like months later when we were retelling the story. But the second thing that happened to us,
oh my gosh, this is crazy. I was house sitting for a woman. I always got really creeped out in that house. It was a big house, like not quite a mansion, but like it was huge. Borderline mansion.
So I never wanted to sleep alone in that house. So I had either my brother stay with me or April and our friend Lily. Before they even came over, there's a study, like an office room that this person had. I was walking past the office to go into the bedroom where I was sleeping, and like there was a drawer that had been opened that I did not open, and I know that it was not open beforehand.
So it wasn't just like you'd been in that room earlier that day.
Yeah.
It was literally like you were in the room, you went to grab something, came back, and the doors were open.
Yeah. Like it was, I couldn't explain it.
Didn't even Jonathan feel like a creepiness to that house? Because I remember telling him later, and Jonathan is her brother, by the way. He's not one to really...
He's never experienced any type of paranormal things, which is it's kind of crazy how two siblings can live in the same house and like have almost the same life and not experience the same things. But he did feel some type of not great thing in that house. So there was one night that Jonathan couldn't stay with me, and so I asked April and our friend Lily to come and stay the night with me, and we were gonna have like a good time. It's a huge house.
Mm-hmm.
We were gonna have like a sleepover. In this house, this woman collected a lot of art, weird sculptures and things like that, tribal artwork and tribal masks, things that you could imagine something being attached to.
She'd have sculptures along the wall, one row of paintings, another row of paintings, and then like another row of paintings.
Like floor to ceiling paintings in this one hallway.
And then statues covered all around it.
Yeah, and like weird, like miscellaneous, mismatched, like antique furniture that didn't really go together. Like she had like 3 or 4 antique desks in her living room. There's this one painting, and so how the house was there was like a regular height ceiling
in the dining room.
Yeah, in the dining room / entry area, which is one half of the house. And then so this is the dining room entry area, and then the other half of the house was vaulted ceilings for the living room. And so the way that the ceiling was it went like this and then up and then slanted like that.
So there's a little area.
There's like a little wall on the ceiling, if that makes sense. So she had this huge painting, like giant. It's the only painting on that wall, and there's like little spotlights lining the walls that was like pointed at it. And it's of this woman, and she kind of looks like a claymation type of bobblehead type of like lady. She kind of, if anyone's seen the movie It, she kind of looked like the woman in that painting that came alive.
And it looked even creepier because everywhere else in the house, she had artwork everywhere. There was nothing that was singled out. But this giant long wall had one painting. There was even a switch in her house where you could illuminate only the lights for that painting and the rest of the house would be dark.
Yep. Like, if anyone that wasn't like sensitive to the like spiritual stuff, they would probably look at the painting and think like, oh yeah, that's really creepy. But like when we looked at the painting, we were like, so we were going to go to sleep that night.
Before I got married, I had this really, like, I could not sleep in the bed with a person. But I decided I still wanted to be in the same room as them because I'm mortified of this house. So I got like, I took like the elevated like bed thingy from another bedroom.
We got some blankets, we got like a mattress topper, and we got like a whole bunch of blankets, made her a nice little bed on the floor.
The way that this house works is that the master bedroom has its own bathroom, its own hallway, its own master closet. It's almost like a small house.
Yeah.
And you can lock just that section of the house. So we locked the house up, we came into the bedroom, we brought the cat, we locked the door.
Yeah.
Everything was locked, everything was turned off. We are now in this bedroom trying to go to sleep. I don't know if any of you are familiar with like The Great Gatsby, but I started to hear very faintly through the door this like Gatsby party style music and chattering.
Yeah, and I heard like a little bit of music, but I thought it might be the air conditioning.
Yeah, it was
like
so
making noises,
faint that
it was so faint.
You could kind of
brush it off to something else.
And I remember asking you, I'm like, hey Hannah, do you hear anything? And you were like, why, what do you hear? And then I was like,
I wanted to see if she was hearing the same thing that I was hearing without putting anything into her mind.
The AC turned off. I was like, okay, like now I definitely won't hear anything, and if I do, I know that I'm hearing something because the house is dead silent. So then I lay back down, I try to go to sleep, and I hear the music even louder, and then I hear like outside the door, I hear like stepping, like a man's dress shoes, like the hard dress shoes that have the bottoms on them, is exactly what it sounded like outside of the door. And I just start crying like a baby.
Yeah, and at this point, after the AC cut off, I didn't hear anything. But April starts crying, and we're like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? She just asked if she could sleep in the bed with us.
And Lily was like, Lily had fallen asleep.
Yeah, Lily was out in 2 seconds. Like, I'm amazed. Like, because we were all squished together. And so, I know I didn't fall asleep. I know April didn't fall asleep. I think Lily fell back asleep.
I don't know how to explain this. I think you can only really get it if you've experienced it yourself. But it's like you can see something in your head so vividly that you like see it in front of you, even though you're not seeing it. It's just so vivid in your brain. It's like something is walking in front of you, but only you can see it, and
like
you know.
Like a projection.
Yes, very similar to that. The woman from the painting walked in the room like this, like just walked in, and you're me, okay? You are me in the bed with Lily and Hannah, okay? And then does this. Stares dead at me, and I just
lose my actual jank.
At this point, April's sobbing. Like, she's like uncontrollably, like before she was like crying, but now she's just like, she can't.
Hysterical.
Like hysterical. Like,
I've never been like that crying.
Screaming. We flip on the lights. Like, she's like, we have to go, we have to leave, blah 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 blah. And so we pick up all of our stuff and just leave.
Yeah.
We did it. We did it.
Basically, that's, to this day, the updated translation of everything that's happened. The Spooky Sisters have told their story.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you for watching, and tune into our next video.